Hi, angels. Welcome back to another week of Hot, Smart, Rich, the podcast. I am so grateful that you're here. I have loved being home and getting to focus back on the business like 110%. I would be lying if I said that it was that level of focus when I'm away. It's not. It's like 80%. And being back in front of the camera, as uncomfortable as it is to get back, feels so good to talk to you guys. It is a crazy week. It's July 1st, Canada Day. It's July 4th. And I decided that after spending the week with Natalie in the Hamptons, the co-founder of Bala, activating with the brand, doing keynote speeches together at a female founder offsite called the Legacy Circle, that I wanted to bring her episode back and do a rerun for the first time. Why? There are so many new faces here. So many people that have heard about the podcast in whatever which way and have decided to graciously give me an hour of their time. Natalie's episode was probably one of my favorites, although I had just gotten my surgery, so excuse my appearance, I'm a little swollen. I felt like what you'll hear in this episode is so authentic and so raw, and having recorded so many other podcasts since this one, it's even more special. Natalie was so open and nothing was off the table. I had no idea if she was going to let me talk about the fact that I declined investing in her brand. And I had gone through the diligence process. And as I've recorded with more and more people, that is not always the case. You have to send questions beforehand. You have to send the recording for approval. You have to make edits. And the more raw and authentic the guest allows you to be, the better the lessons for everybody. So I decided in this crazy week to bring back an episode. Natalie tells you exactly what it has taken to build Bala to a $20 million brand, the impact on her personal life, being a mom, the actual things that they're doing to continue to build Bala, which is only getting bigger and better. And I hope that you enjoy it. I hope that it brings you the same learnings that it does for me every single time I listen to it. So without further ado, here is Natalie Holloway, the co-founder of Bala, and I can't wait to talk to you guys next week. Love you. Let's be honest, founders. Returns are a nightmare for business. If you're scaling a Shopify brand, you already know the costs I'm talking about. Sky-high refund rates, constant return fraud, and rising shipping costs that eat into your margins. And that's where Freight comes in. Freight is a returns platform built exclusively for Shopify brands, already trusted by brands like Caraway and Monos to flip returns from a cost center into a growth lever. They're not just reducing returns, they're redesigning them completely. With instant and one-click exchanges that increase LTV, AI-powered fraud detection that screens worn items before they ship, and peer-to-peer returns that eliminate unnecessary shipping trips, Freight's making returns feel profitable. One brand cut refunds by 21%, saving $900,000. And the brands using Freight retain more cash and convert more customers, period. So if you're ready to turn your returns into revenue, head to Freight.com and tell them Hot Smart Rich sent you for an exclusive offer and white glove service. That's FRATE.com and tell them Hot Smart Rich sent you. In case you missed it, you're allowed to be hot, smart, and rich. So let's get into it. Third time's a charm.
Let's do it.
Natalie Holloway, are you ready to get hot, smart, rich?
I'm so ready.
I'm so happy that you're here because you are such a girl's girl, and I'm going to go into why later on in this episode. But you just had your third baby. You are the founder of Bala, which I'm wearing. This is my first workout since my breast augmentation, which don't tell my doctor. And you're here 5 weeks after having a baby. So thank you so much for being here, first of all.
Thank you for having me. It's crazy to be out in the world a little bit.
Is this your first thing back since mat leave?
I've left the house a couple times, going to the park, things like that. But probably my first work thing.
Oh my God, I'm so honored. What made you want to do it?
I was like, I want to be on your podcast. It's a great opportunity. So that was an easy yes. And my schedule is actually weirdly completely clear since it is mat leave technically.
Yeah.
So I have some free time.
But do you feel like you ever really get a mat leave when you're the founder of a company?
No, you don't. I mean, you do in the sense that I am downshifting and like doing a couple months without calls, but it's my baby. It's like my fourth.
It's your
baby.
first baby.
Or
It's your
my
first baby.
Yeah, it's my first baby. So I have to check in on it. But I'm also, my partner is my husband. So he's like doing all of the work and kind of just like keeping me updated. So it's just like a founder's version of a mat leave.
I have such ADHD that you just said 3 things. I was like, we need to touch on all of those, but we're going to start by taking it back a second. So I love to start podcasts just so chill, just like get easy and get going.
Yeah.
What is your day in a life typically as a founder and then versus being a mom now? Like in your mat leave, what is your day in life like?
Oh, like right now?
Yeah.
Well, okay, let's see. 3 kids. Okay, so 4-year-old, 2-year-old, 0-year-old. And so my day right now is like honestly mostly like breastfeeding and pumping all day long. That's like first and foremost.
The vulnerability, yes.
I mean, it is. It's like you literally are like breastfeeding and pumping like 8 hours a day when you add it all up. So that's like the main priority. And then also like trying to get in time with the 4-year-old and the 2-year-old, making them feel not neglected or anything like that. And then Bala's like less of a priority right now. So of course I'm probably like emailing an hour a day or something, or doing an occasional, not a call actually. So just really some emails.
Yeah.
It's
so amazing to have you on because one of the requests that I've gotten from our community so far, because people have been loving it, and I'm so honored to hear this is like the first thing you wanted to do to come back, but people really want mom stories. And actually, personally, like why I started this podcast is because like I want to learn and I don't want to come across as the expert. And I'm 32. I'm with the person I'm going to be with forever. And, we are talking about family planning, and it is fucking terrifying to think about having a baby and deprioritizing my career and choosing family over that. Mm-hmm. But it's also like the thing I know is like the right decision. But even taking yourself back 5 years ago before you had your first child, like, was that a hard decision for you to come to terms with?
Yeah, and I've actually heard that a lot from people. Like, they're so scared that they won't have time for the business and all of that. But I mean, I think, yes, it was definitely scary. And with my first kid, I was like in very much like Bala building mode. So I probably like worked a lot through it. But now my priorities have shifted a little bit. And I would say, don't be scared of it, because it's just going to make you way more efficient. I'm sure you've heard that. Like, moms are the most efficient people ever because you know what to say no to. So it's like already you're like so good at prioritizing things. And then you just create systems, which is how you build a good business anyway. Like, you create systems in your own life to make it all work, because all of a sudden you have a lot to do. And then outsourcing, like, you will just outsource a lot of stuff.
Do you mean like outsource personal life or your business life more?
Honestly, both. Because I'm like, if I have to like drive to the office to do some sort of meeting, like, is there any way I could outsource that? An errand maybe is a good example. Is there like some sort of Bala errand I have to go to? Like, do I have to? Can I outsource that? If you can, you should, because now it's like 2 hours out of my life is better spent like maybe paying somebody to do it so I could spend time with my kids. And I think that's like something that definitely shifts as a mom.
Do you feel like you're there for all of the major moments for your kids, or are there sacrifices that you have to make when you're like, I actually do need to prioritize the business right now over like being there 24/7 if you were a stay-at-home mom?
What's crazy about building your own business is you're really building the freedom. So I actually don't have to miss anything. If anything, I can go to more. I can like block off my schedule any day and be like, I'm going to go on that field trip.
Yeah.
Whereas like maybe if I worked for somebody else, I couldn't.
Yeah.
So that's like what right now, like in your building era, like it's like that's what should inspire you, because you're able to say no to what you want and build the freedom in your schedule. So I don't really have to miss anything. Of course, I'm not like staying at home all day long, stay-at-home mom style, but I can make my schedule, how I want it.
Yeah.
So there's freedom there for sure.
So right now you have 3 kids all under the age of 4. Even saying that out loud is terrifying.
It's nuts.
Okay. So you said that when you had your first kid, you were in like Bala building mode. What year of Bala are you in right now?
Well, it's our 6th year.
Okay.
So it's just like at this point, we're a little bit more established. Like, we have our team, we have our systems created. We're more like a little bit of a well-oiled machine.
Yep.
And I'm not doing everything like I once was.
Yeah.
And I would say when my son was born, I was doing everything. I probably was like answering customer service emails, shipping product, like literally everything.
Yeah.
So there was no slowing down. I probably just did it with like a baby in my carrier, at all times. But now I'm able to, there's just like, it's more of a well-oiled machine.
Yeah. And do you feel like now you're in a place where you're doing the work that you actually enjoy more because you get to pick and choose that, and you've brought in like a team that can almost do the work you didn't like better than you?
Yes, definitely. Like I can say, of course, there's always going to be like grunt work and things you don't want to do, like spreadsheets or accounting, whatever that is for you. But I definitely get to do more of what I love.
What do you love?
I actually really I love things like this. I love panels. I love giving like business advice. So I love all of that. On Bala, I love like social media and marketing. My husband does all the product, but that's also exciting. There's a lot.
So does he do like product innovation?
He's literally designed every product we have.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So is his background in product design?
No, he was in advertising.
But I think what's so interesting about the dynamic between motherhood and founder life is like you did start the business with your partner, like your romantic partner who's now your husband. You guys did start the business like 7 weeks into dating, right?
Yes. We started it like super early, like right into date. Like we just started dating, and that's when we quit our jobs and traveled and went on this crazy trip and started the business.
And then fast forward 7 years, like the thing that I think is so interesting to look back on now is all of the learnings on like a personal side and a business side. Like, what do you guys think that you've done really well as a teammate? And what do you guys look back on and you're like, oof, I wish that we had done that differently?
Let's see. What we did really well is at this stage, though, we didn't do it at the beginning. So that's maybe like a little bit of answer to your question. But at the beginning, we were kind of all in everything together, like in each other's business and categories and all of that. And that really wasn't working, especially as a romantic partner. It's like, I don't need to be his boss. He doesn't need to be my boss. And so what we realized really works for us is establishing our own swim lane. So it's like product is his. Like he asks for my advice and feedback, but it's like that's his. Like I'm not on product calls because that's his. And so we divide and conquer the business. So it helps us, like, because we are in a relationship, to have our own swim lanes, not be on like stepping on each other's toes. Like we're kind of like the boss in our own areas. And then I think also it really helps us like divide and conquer the business. So we're able to like, do twice as many calls a day if we're not on the same calls, So I think that's something that now we're doing right and we didn't at the beginning.
Something I really struggle with that though is like when I see a decision get made across the business that I don't agree with or I think is like detrimental to the brand that we're building, I find it very hard to be like, well, that's not my swim lane. Like, I'm not going to go in there. How do you guys figure out how to have constructive conversations when you're like, oh, I really don't think that product's going to work, or I don't like the colors that we're choosing, or the material doesn't make sense. And then same when he sees something you're doing on brand or marketing and he's like, why did you say that or do that? Like, how do you guys handle those disagreements?
So we definitely do that. I could think of like 3 examples like this week that happened where it's like, I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have approved that.
Do you say that to him?
Both of us. But I think what we learned is instead of coming at it like, hey, why'd you do this? I wouldn't have done that, like aggressive. It's almost like therapy. It's like if you come at it with kindness, I feel like it's like an approachable conversation and then you can like remedy the situation. But yeah, we've had many instances of that. I'm like thinking of them literally over the last few weeks of just like little riffs, not fights, but like, hey, that's not how I would have done it. And then we have a constructive conversation about it. But I think for the most part, it's like you have to trust the decision makers, and then if it's like a big deal to you, then you can approach it that way. But I agree. It's like, it's hard to let go of control.
It's so hard to let go of control, especially when it's like, it is your baby, right? And I think you are so tied to Bala as like the face of the brand. And I saw, even I think it was yesterday, you came online on TikTok and you were like, hey, drunk elephant, these are—
I know, it's like the first time we've really like done that.
I need to talk about this. So there was a video on TikTok where a girl was doing an unboxing of a package from Drunk Elephant.
Yeah.
And they tagged Bala in the comments being like, oh my God, my bangles. And you came on and you were like, hey, those aren't ours, but they literally look exactly the same. You have dealt with this your entire career. Like you guys pioneered an industry of like fashion luxury meets at-home fitness, and not even at-home fitness. How do you deal with so many copycats?
It's so frustrating, and it's even like more frustrating for Max, because like he literally like designed like the beam from his mind, and then he's like, you go see it copied everywhere and by people like we've gifted and things like that. So it's like it's more frustrating for him. For me, I'm kind of like, you have to, that's the nature of it. Think about fashion. Like fashion is copying from the runway. Like it's just part of it. And if anything, it just like inspires you to continue innovating, because you can let it eat you alive, but it's like, what is that going to do? You just kind of have to keep innovating. But it is so frustrating. And people just don't know. Like they may see the product and just think that person made it up, but it's like, we worked, for 7 years on these products. So the junk elephant thing, we normally don't call people out, because like there are thousands of scenarios that have happened to us, and it's disheartening because there's not much you can do about it. But the junk elephant one we called out, because
so did they respond to you
like crazy on Instagram, like people thinking we did a collab with them, and it's like, they know who we are, they know better, they know
better. Yeah,
we're in touch with their attorneys, because for them it's like, not like making an example of them, but they know what they're doing. They were trying to make it look like a Bala, and then they put their logo on it, and it's not Bala. So it's like, and everyone's tagging us in it. So we didn't do a collab with them. So we were like, let's start saying something.
Yeah, I'm actually so happy that you did, because I think that's what this place is supposed to be, is like the real conversations of what happens. And this is a real thing that happens in business, like trademarking and patents and like all of the things that like your consumption or your consumer behavior and like their perception is actually reality. And I remember when I first entered into entertainment, somebody was like, perception is reality. And if you have your customers tagging Bala and it's not your brand, it's like, you should be saying something. Were you afraid to put out that video?
A little bit, but at this point, like we have not said something for so long that I was like, we have to say something. This is like a brand that has the same customer base as us. These are our, influencers tagging us, and it's causing confusion, and they know better.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. I'm like, they know better.
Why do you think that they would have done that though, instead of just doing a collab? How do you guys typically, like, especially for a PR unboxing, like how would you guys price something like that normally?
A lot of times we might have just gifted it.
Yeah.
Literally, we probably would have just gifted it.
So instead of like sending a cease and desist, it's like, here's a gift for your PR.
Yeah.
So,
or charging wholesale.
Yeah.
A lot of times we charge wholesale because you have certain limitations with what you really can gift. So like wholesale's our strategy.
So when you guys did your collab with Poochie, walk us through how that came to be and how it's been perceived so far in the market.
So let's see. I mean, they reached out and they wanted to do a collab, and this is probably like a year or year and a half ago, because sometimes it takes forever. And we worked with their team to match like the colors and like collaborate on that and the photo shoot and all of that. And it came, it's probably like, a year in the making, but we were really excited about this one because it's like, very fashion forward brand, like Italian and chic. And we got a lot of really good response.
Do you mean like press response or consumer like behavior purchasing response?
Well, purchasing response. I think we sold out of 2 of the 3 products, and but also just like consumer, it's like everyone I see now is like, oh my gosh, I saw Poochie. Almost like talk value response on social, of course, as well, media, all of that. But like more than that, like anecdotally, when I'm walking around and I see somebody I know, they're like, oh my gosh, I saw Poochie.
For sure. It was huge.
It's just like it made a splash. And this was probably my favorite collab we've done. So it was very exciting.
So you pick favorite children. I'm just kidding.
I know, right? That's bad. I don't yet.
Well, favorite children of your collabs, yeah,
for sure.
How did you guys? Are you able to share how you structured the deal? Like, did you? Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, I would say a lot of ours are like different structure. It really depends. Like for free people, let's say if we're doing a collab with them, they're one of our big retailers. They'll just buy it at wholesale, and then we'll work back and forth on like what the design and the Pantones will be. But for a collab that we're like really all in on, which probably happens 4 times a year or something, like Poochie, it is actually for them, they bought at wholesale. So for
Amazing.
the most part, buying at wholesale is like how it works. Sometimes it's like a rev share, but I would say 90% of our collabs, they just buy at wholesale. We work directly with the teams and it's structured differently. Like sometimes we split the photo shoot costs.
That's what I was going to say, like marketing costs. Yeah.
Like it just depends on everyone's budgets, but for the most part, things are split.
And do you feel like you've had a waterfall effect of like really cool brands now being in your DMs after Poochie being like, we want to collab?
Yeah, definitely. I would say there's definitely some brands up in our DMs.
Can you share like the coolest brand that's in your DMs?
Oh God, I don't know. I feel we had a funny just like interesting one, Lisa Frank. I feel like that was
Wait,
like
I don't
not
know
the
who that is.
coolest
Who is
brand,
that?
but it's just like nostalgic. So I'll show you.
Okay.
And I don't know, it has to be in Canada too. It's like literally when you were like 11.
Oh.
A Lisa Frank backpack.
I don't.
Not the
okay,
coolest.
you have to show me after. We'll
It's just
put it
like
on the screen.
Nostalgia.
Yeah, okay.
Nostalgia for me.
And then, have you guys ever collabed with creators?
You know, the one creator collab we have, but it's more of a brand. It's Form.
Okay, yeah.
Sammy Clark.
Yeah.
But it's through Form. So it's really a brand. But that would be like the Sammys would be the creators there.
Yeah. How did that one do?
We have one potentially in the works though.
Can you share any like secrets about it? Sneak peeks?
Well, it's not like solidified, but it would be like in the heavier lifting category.
Okay, love that.
that could be fun.
How did the Sammys collab do?
It's ongoing. So
okay.
this is honestly the best thing because instead of the Sammys, they could like go and get like the knockoff bangles and all that stuff. But instead they worked with us. Like we have the Form logo, the Bala logo we've collabed on in marketing, and it's just an ongoing partnership. So they just place orders with us and then they sell to their customers.
That's
like
amazing.
A retailer, which is nice because instead of just like copying us and going against the patent and stuff, they worked with us. So
and it's mutually beneficial because then you get access to these ravenous fans of Form and the Sammys, which is a crazy community. Like they just have such an amazing loyal fan base. And I think that's what is so interesting about that type of a collab is you're able to tap into that creator economy without having to pay these crazy rates. I feel like I don't see you guys spending a ton of money on influencer marketing. Does that a lot of your budget go towards influencers or not really?
No, not really. On huge like affiliate program
Okay.
and TikTok shop affiliate, but for the most part, and every now and then when we do a launch, like we'll do some paid creators, but it's not a huge budget.
Why do you think you guys have stayed away from influencer marketing?
Well, we do it with like affiliate
Yeah.
and stuff, so we still do. It's
Okay.
I would say it's still a big part of the business, but we don't have like huge influencer budgets because of our affiliate program. So
Because they work really well.
they work really well. So the thing is like they you know how it works, but it's like
Yeah.
they do make money
For
so,
sure.
You know, it's like
Well, it's interesting because like I can use this as an example, but these pants are basically the only things that I've fit into. And I literally posted like one Instagram story and one email and linked them. And I sold like $11,000 worth of these pants. And it's crazy.
so you got like $1,500 or something.
Probably
right? Yeah.
like if I add it up,
Yeah.
right? And it's like I feel like maybe my conversion is a little bit higher because I never really push products on
Yeah.
people. I don't think that's like an every time I'm selling something, and I don't think about selling. I'm just thinking about sharing what I
Yeah.
actually love, and I think that's what's so great about affiliate marketing. But I do think that based on the stage of your brand, and I think you guys are, like you said, a little bit further along, where like bringing in those bigger creators or like even a celebrity face. Like,
Yeah.
have you guys like why have you guys never brought in a celebrity face or done like a big splashy moment with like a huge celebrity that
Yeah.
could just put you at a different level?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting question. I mean, we have Maria Sharapova as an investor, so I would say that's like that's what I don't know. The budgets are crazy, or you have to give away a percentage of your company, and it's just not been
Top of mind.
Yeah, I mean, we've gotten almost into deals before, but I just think we're always looking at it on like, is there a return on investment? And there might not be.
Yeah.
You know, because of the budget is so crazy for that. And I've always been like more of a fan of like the micro strategy in general and just having like a lot of affiliates, like you just said, like
Yeah.
you sold
$11,000.
$11,000 and you made $1,500 from that or $2,000, whatever you made. And that that is an influencer budget. It's just like, hey, if this works, we both, get paid from this. sort of
Totally.
thing.
My crush before my boyfriend was Mark Cuban. I am.
Have you ever met him?
No.
Oh, okay. I feel like you have to like meet him.
It is my dream.
Throw it out there. Have
Like,
him on the podcast.
yeah, like I am manifesting having Mark Cuban on this podcast. And I know that when you went on Shark Tank, you got a deal from Maria Sharapova and Mark Cuban. What is working with Mark Cuban like?
I mean, he's a cool dude for sure. He literally, I think he's very interesting because he's like, if you email him, he'll email back like
I
immediately.
heard that. Should I just email him and be like, I have a boyfriend, but I used to have a crush on you?
Literally.
No, but I heard
and then say, come on my podcast. He might, honestly. He's like, he gives really good advice. He's like a conservative businessman, and he like knows when things. I'm about to email him after this about something, but
tell him that he should come on my podcast.
I'll be like, P.S. I was on Heart Smart Rich, and he loves you. I mean, she loves you. But yeah, no, he's a cool guy who's like a conservative businessman who has great advice.
Okay.
So,
and does he push the product ever? Like, does he promote it?
I think he's done like 2 stories.
Okay.
But he's not really active on social.
Which I love.
But if I reached out, I'm sure he would.
Okay.
You know, for anything. Like we like to reserve our favors. He went on a South by Southwest panel with us. That was a big deal.
Huge.
For him, you know, his time is probably worth $100,000 an hour.
He's like a billionaire. So you guys have only raised from Maria Sharapova, Mark Cuban, and then you guys did a small insider round that I saw.
Yes.
Sidecar you did it on.
Yes.
Have you guys raised any other money?
No. So that was very small. That was like, yeah.
How much money have you guys raised total?
Like $950,000.
Are you able to share how much you're doing in revenue or no?
Yeah, I mean, this year we're gonna do over 20.
Amazing.
I'll share that. We're gonna
I
do
love
over
that you're
20.
so open. Can I tell you, like, that is what is so rare in this industry is like and this is what I wanted to bring up at the very beginning. Like, you are such a girl's girl. Like, when you were 9 months pregnant, you came to my event and I was just like,
That's probably the last thing I did before I had the baby.
This is okay. So you heard it here first. The last thing she did before she went. Yeah. I'm like, are you obsessed with me? I'm just
Oh my God, that's so creepy of me.
No, it just goes to show like you are such a girl's girl. And I think it is so hard to find in this industry. It's like there is, I think, amongst female founders, there's a lot of sharing that goes on of like how things are actually, what investors are like. But there's also a lot that I feel like people do gatekeep and they do keep for themselves. And they're like, I was introduced to this investor, but I'm not going to introduce you because like, what if they invest over you? And it's like, what people don't remember is like, everybody loves a good deal. So if you introduce Mark Cuban to a good investment and you make him money, like that only looks good on you. And I think like that's what I've loved about you is just like your openness and you're willing to like be there when it's not convenient or when it's just like not comfortable. And also just like share that you're going to do over $20 million of revenue with a $900,000 investment. Like that's crazy. How did you get to that point?
It's been a long road of up and down and, you know, but I would say, okay, like snapshot is COVID. You kind of know our story.
I know. Like I didn't know if you were going to be willing to talk about it. Okay, let's talk about COVID and then like what happened after COVID.
Yeah. Okay. So it really was crazy because we started the brand as a complete side hustle. We literally have on our vision board like 10 units a day. Like wish we could sell 10 units a day. That's nothing compared to now. And so it was just a side project. So anyway, we launched, but then the perfect storm of Shark Tank and COVID happened.
Yeah.
2 years into the business. So that was like the year we literally went from 2 to 20 million. It's like out there, the story, but 2 to 20 million. But then what happened is we were like, okay, we're doing 2 million with a couple people on the team. It was like my husband and myself. We need to like hire people. We need to like spend the money, you know, like get the website, do the photo shoots, like spend all the money basically. And we were super profitable because of the lean team. So fitness was soaring, you know, all indicators were that like this was going to continue. And so I think the next year we had projected a growth year, like maybe 24 or 25 million. But what happened instead is it was a down year. And so we had hired 30 people on the team. And we basically, after a few rounds of layoffs and this down year, it was the year that, you know, like Peloton was going down. Like everyone knows fitness was going down that year. I think it was
at-home fitness because everyone was going back to the gym.
Exactly. And so we were not prepared for that. And when you're not VC backed, a down year of like even a couple million like really impacts your cash flow. Like we were like, we need to like fire people like yesterday. So after a few rounds, we went all the way down to 3 people, my husband, myself, and Brooke, who I'm sure you've met on our team, who's our CBO now. So literally went down to 3 people and it was like, okay, all of a sudden we had to do everything. Like I had to do all of our wholesale business, which is like thousands of wholesale retailers. And so it was a really dark time. We were like almost going to go out of business, like so close to going out of business. But then, over the last couple of years, that made us like really whipped us into shape and turned the business into a very profitable business. And instead of like valuing like growth, we valued profitability at every turn. And so it just like, it kind of changed the course of the business, but it was just crazy having to
go through that.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy because I remember like when you were pitching me, I was like, everything in me wants to invest. But like I was so early in my investing career, I was like, I have to remember that like I'm going to be judged on like my return and like what is making good decisions. Yeah. And I remember being like, it's so unfair that like I had to say no strictly because you were dealt a card of like explosive growth because of COVID, at home fitness. And then it's like without anybody ever knowing, it's like everybody's going back to the gym. And it's like, how do you prepare for that? But I think what I have just respected so much about you and Max as like a leadership team is the way you handled that, because it was like, it wasn't ever an option to fail or close. It was like you just had to do what you had to do, which as a girl's girl female is really hard when you're having to lay off a staff of like 27 people. What was that like for you?
It was horrible. I was like friends with these people, and then all of a sudden it's like, and they didn't necessarily understand exactly why
No.
They didn't know what was really truly behind the curtain, things you don't really share with employees. Like we were like $3 million, I think it was $3 million in debt completely. And that was horrible.
And did you have your son at that point?
I had my son at that point. Actually, I was pregnant with my daughter too. So it was I was going through this pregnant and had to fire everyone and then basically do all of their jobs. Like we had to split all of those people's jobs between us. And just like, we had like almost like a mantra of like, good is good enough. It doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be the best. Like things are gonna slip through the cracks during this like era. And that's okay because this is what we have to do to save the business. And then now we like paid off that debt and it's just, it's a different business now. But at the time it was like very dark times.
And now I'm just like, it makes me honestly just so impressed with you, like even more so than when you walked into my house, because I knew a lot of the story, but obviously not down to like what happened after we had been talking. Mm-hmm. So when you guys did your layoffs, you were basically doing everything. What was the turning point to you guys being like, we are going to right this ship and completely change the business to profitability?
I mean, the turning point was like I wanted to the problem is we could have like let go of people like 6 months earlier and not had such a like debt and things like that. But I was like, my heart, I couldn't like let go of these people. I really, really cared about them. They were great at their jobs, all the stuff. So it really took Max and I back and forth. Like finally he's like, we were going out of business like now if we don't do this. And I had to do it. I mean, really it was like when we owed people, we didn't have anyone to back us. Like we weren't going to make payroll. Like we literally had to do it. And there was no other option. And so I think it was truly back to the beginning, because it was like when we started, I was doing customer service and all of these things. And now we're back to that.
Do you feel like your relationship with money and just like having gone from 0 to 2 million to 20 million back to like having to do everything changed a lot in terms of being like much more frugal? Like how do you think about money today? How do you think about money today as a founder?
I mean, for the business, I think of it as like what I said earlier with influencer marketing, like a return on investment. Because the old me, when we got ourselves in that situation, would be like, oh, our head of growth says we need to spend $300,000 on a new website. I would say, why? Like, why can't we spend 40 grand? Like, let's see what the options are here before we just go with what the experts say. Because that's what got us into trouble, is like, you're supposed to spend this amount of money. You mentioned like an influencer. It's like maybe then somebody would be like, pay $50K for a post. And we might have done it because someone said we should. But now I'm like, there has to be a return on everything, because that's how you make a super profitable business. And we have now. And so it definitely made me more frugal, and also just like look at everything across the business with an ROI.
How do you think about your relationship with money personally since that experience?
Personally, let's see. probably the same. I'm like less frugal in my day-to-day life, I feel like.
Well, you value your time now because you are a mom. Yeah.
That is what it is. It is value my time. So it's like I'd rather pay a premium to get time back with my kids, or like if I could punch above my weight, by doing something on Bala, like my time is better spent. I might make more for giving 5 hours dedicated time to Bala than I would doing whatever this other task is. So I think, valuing
your time
for sure.
Did you grow up like with an abundance mindset towards money, or how did you grow up thinking about money?
I always saved and worked really hard. Like I was like a 16-year-old that was waitressing, and I was like middle class family, had everything I needed, but I was like a 16-year-old waitressing and like saved like $10,000 on my own, like in a summer or two. Like I always felt, I guess I felt like I needed to work hard and always have something going on in that sense. I do have an abundance mindset, at least now, about money. Yeah.
Well, I feel like they always say that, like, whether it's like addiction or whatever, it's like when you almost like hit rock bottom, it's like you just are like, there is no other option for me. Like, I just have to think differently. When you think about like the world that we live in now with social media, and especially being like the front face of the brand, I feel like there's so much pressure to spend on like new clothes and like fashion and beauty. Like, do you have a certain category that you do find yourself, like mom stuff aside, that you're investing into and like prioritizing where you buy things? Like, is it fashion? Is it workout classes? Like, where do you find you spend your disposable income?
Honestly, I don't even blink twice about like, not like skincare, like skin things. Like I just did this like crazy.
I was gonna say your skin is amazing. What'd you do?
It's this laser facial. Have you heard of the salmon sperm one?
Yes.
Yeah, I just did that. But I'm just saying things like that.
How much is that?
That I bought 3 sessions. It was $2,400.
And where did you go?
But I wouldn't spend like $2,400 on a dress. You know what I mean?
For
so
sure.
Like I spend in like that's like an investment in myself. I went to a place called Bliss Point in Larchmont.
Okay. Because you live on the east side.
But this is, Larchmont, it's close enough to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to go.
You got to do it. I mean, your skin's amazing.
No, but this is like, you have a glow to you. I was like, is she pregnant again?
It's that. I swear, then it must be that because.
So you spend on skincare.
Skincare and like wellness things, especially because it's research for our brand. Like sauna, things like that, like cold plunge, whatever. Are
you guys going into cold plunge and saunas and stuff?
No, we're not. But I just feel like everything in wellness is research for the brand, truly.
Yeah.
And so vitamins, things like that, I wouldn't bulk at. I would invest in, my body and the skin.
Yeah.
But we are doing a studio though.
You are, but
in New York.
I thought that you guys had a studio.
That was a pop-up.
And did it go well?
It did go well. That was in the time of spending too much money.
Okay.
So it went well, but we spent too much money on it.
Okay.
And so now we're doing it differently.
How much does a build out like that cost?
Gosh, the build out, I guess since I'm just going to be so super honest, the build out of that I think was like probably $300,000, but it was 6-month pop up. So if you think about, and then rent is like over $20,000, and then you think about the operations and the design fees, it gets like
$500,000.
Pricey.
Yeah.
But if you're doing a build out for something that's staying like our studio, it's a 10-year lease.
Yeah.
Like that could be double.
What do you think about the exclusivity of the Aloe Gym when you're thinking about your Bala studio? Is it going to be influencer only? Is it going to be reserve? Like, how do you think about exclusivity versus community marketing in today's world?
So we'll always have like exclusive events, going on, like influencer events. But for our studio, we feel very firmly that we don't want it to be super influencery. I'm sure it will be because it'll be like beautiful and people will take selfies and all of that. But we want it to feel very like we want everyone to feel welcome, and we want it to feel like a true community. Anyone can come. We don't want anyone to feel like they have to like dress up and put makeup on to go. And we've heard that feedback in all of our research that we're doing right now about other studios that like carry a lot of Bala products. Sometimes people like love the workout, but they don't really want to go because they feel like maybe they don't look cute enough or they're not like dressed up enough. And so we're really trying to make that not the thing. And we want everyone to feel welcome, like truly. So I think that was how our store was too. So hopefully we'll pull that off.
And is it going to be a store and studio in one?
There'll be retail at the front.
Okay.
Like you can go pick up some bangles or something, not full retail experience. And then it's really all about the studio.
Yeah. It's so interesting and some insight. And this is why I love HSR so much, because I get like firsthand feedback on what people love. When Lululemon opened their gym in New York, I posted being like, and I did a poll on my Instagram stories for HSR. What do you guys think will be more successful? Like Alo Gym, Alo Yoga's exclusivity, or Lululemon's like come for everybody? And everybody was like, oh my God, community marketing, Lululemon, like I'm so over Alo because of the exclusivity factor.
Yeah.
And I just feel like nowadays building with your community is so important. And a lot of brands say that they do it, but then in practice, that's not where the money flows. Do you guys feel like the community is actually giving you that ROI versus influencer marketing?
Yes, because they're the ones that are really shopping.
Yeah.
But I think that's a fair point. I mean, the Poppy, do you see?
Yes.
The
What do you
vending
think
machine?
about that?
Yeah, it's too much money to spend on influencers, but we wouldn't ever spend that much on influencers. We would do like a cute mailer or something, of course. But I feel like however much it was like $10,000 a vending machine or something. I feel like that is better spent for the community. So like giving away like free classes for a week or whatever it is, like we definitely intend on doing more community in that sense.
The thing I feel bad for with Poppy, and the thing I think they were judged on incorrectly, is like, let's say they're doing $300 million of revenue, which I don't know, but like, let's just say
They probably are.
They probably are. Like, they have an influencer budget that's for those like big, grandiose awareness campaigns. Like exclusivity and influencer marketing works, cool. I do think that Poppy does do a good job of community marketing as well as influencer marketing. And so I did feel a little bit bad for them that I was like, they kind of do both, and they're being like torn down for something where it's like they kind of don't disregard their community. They just do both. Yeah. But I feel like nowadays being a founder, like you just can't win. And do you personally get affected when you get hate towards Bala?
Yes, of course.
How do you deal with that?
Especially when I was the one responding to the emails, like any hate would like cut me so deep, and I would like say something snarky back. I'm like, get off customer service. How do I deal with that? I think I just say, it's okay to not be for everyone, and that just means that you're actually making a statement. Like you're pissing someone off. Like we've had people pissed because like we put a girl in like a super fashion outfit to work out, and it's like, I don't know why you're pissed about that.
Yeah,
something else bad happened in your day, but you're not for us, lady. And that's okay. And we made you feel something. Yeah. And that means the people who felt they loved it, like we made them feel something. So I feel like it's better to make people feel something.
Do you feel like there's such a pressure to put like such diversity in campaigns that it's like it's hard as a small brand when you're like, well, I mean, you're lucky you don't actually make sizes of clothing where it's like you're having to do like an entire like size of guide of like so many different sizes, or a makeup brand that has to do like so many different skin tones. Otherwise, like you're not inclusive. Do you feel that same pressure from like a creative standpoint where you're like, we have to put such diversity in our campaigns that it's like hard sometimes as a small brand?
For sure. And it's like sometimes you only have the budget for like one model, and it's like the model, you have to pick what ethnicity that model will be. And so, yes, I do feel like that is tough. And we really do try to have like diversity. But it is hard because then it's like maybe we did have diversity, but not body inclusivity on this one campaign, and like people reach out and we'll hear about it on our emails. Like let's say we have like a feature, like a monthly Bala Babe feature. It could be like the Sammys would be on one,
Maggie Sellers will be on one. I'm just
Maggie
kidding.
Sellers will be on our next one. And basically Bala Babe feature, and it's like if it's just like a hot girl, like, oh my gosh, this is so disappointing. But it's like, well, you have to represent all, and you can't be mad about so it's just tough. And you have to just like realize you're always going to hear something, even if you think you got it right.
I'm so bad at that. Like I think I'm just so new to this that like it does really hurt me still. It hurts.
You've said it before.
I get a lot.
Like Hot Smart Rich is like,
oh, that's like the worst for sure. It's actually crazy. So my boyfriend was telling me that somebody that he's friends with literally like told him not to date me when we were first trying to date because of the name of my company. And then his best friend
What?
His best friend came and like straight up to my face was like, what is this about Hot Smart Rich at your email address? And I was like, my goal is to be so provocative that I capture people's attention to empower women to become hot, smart, rich. If you do your research, you will know that like, I don't actually think that I'm hot, smart, rich. It is a way to cut through the noise of this world that we live in and do something that like brings the right people in. So that doesn't bother me. The stuff that bothers me is like the stuff that feels really personal. Like that somebody that is in my life is actually saying something about me, like that's not really like a close friend, but is like somebody that like knows something and I'll like see it and I'm just like, whoa, like I can't believe that has like gotten out or like is there. Or things that don't bother me are like the sound of my voice people are annoyed by, or the name of my company. But it's more like the mission of what I'm doing. Like, who does she think that she is? She's such a know-it-all.
People do, like, say that? That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
On what? On like
Reddit.
DMs? On Reddit? But that just means you're cool enough to be on Reddit. I mean,
I know, but it's still really like Rachel, my PR, is laughing because she's like,
no,
it's so good.
You want them to say something. You want them to say something.
I know.
Especially with what you're building, and it is catchy, and anyone who knows you like knows your intent. So it's like,
yeah,
get rid of the noise. But easier said than done. I have thin skin too.
I have such thin skin. It's something I'm working on. And honestly, like my boyfriend sends me like a message every single day being like, don't care what people think about you. Just keep doing your thing. And I think this is like the space that I craved so much. Like growing up in the startup world that I did, I never felt like there was women I could like look up to that were honest like you are being right now. Like it was such a facade of like luxury and perfection and like curation. And there was no understanding of like, how much does it cost to put a studio together? Like, what does it look like to almost like go into bankruptcy? Like all of the things that we experience. Yeah. And that's why for me, it's like such a sacred thing. And I love bringing people like you on who are like, here's like the good, the bad, and the ugly of what is actually happening. When you come back from mat leave, what will your role look like?
It's a good question, and everyone's like, when are you coming back? Because I just get to decide when I'm coming back. But I think I'm gonna structure. I was doing this before actually because I was so pregnant and I really wanted to get a lot of time in with my 2-year-old daughter. Basically, I just structure my days really differently. So like I'll maybe like do some emails from 8 to 9, but then I will like take my daughter to the park or her library class from like 9 to 12. Like that's like crazy to take like that 3-hour chunk right then. But then like she'll nap from like 12 to 2 or 12 to 3 and I'll like power through a bunch of stuff or schedule like a meeting then. I like block my days around my kids so that I can be there for them. And or when the kids go to bed, I just know, hey, I'm going to work for like a really power through 30 minutes of emails or whatever it is. So I will structure my days to where I feel like I'm not missing out on my kid's life.
And do you feel like your role at Bala is like moving more into that front facing like creator founder role where you're like creating content? I saw you just did an ad with Amazon, which I was obsessed with. Like, is that the stuff that lights you up?
Yeah, I do like that stuff a lot. I like working, with other brands. I like said it earlier, but giving business advice and, being an advisor to other companies. And so, yes, I think that's where I would like to see my career go.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, to wrap up, because we're almost at time,
wow.
I wanted to do some rapid fire.
Okay.
I love rapid fire.
Fun.
Okay, if you could only pick one for the rest of your life, coffee, tea, or cocktail?
Oh my God, that's so hard. I have to go fast though. Coffee.
What's your
hard between coffee and cocktail?
What's your coffee order?
Oat latte with a little bit of vanilla.
Okay, good. At least like these girls that want to die on the hill for their coffee order and it's like a black coffee. I'm like, babes, like you need to pick a cocktail.
I don't know. Now I'm full of regret. I need a cocktail.
Okay, what's your cocktail order?
A spicy margarita.
Okay,
or
love
if I'm
that.
feeling crazy, a dirty martini.
Okay. If you could only pick one for the rest of your life, Pilates or strength training?
Pilates.
Okay. Erewhon or Joe and the Juice?
Erewhon.
Is there anything else that you could pick? Like I was trying to think of something over Erewhon. Like
ooh. Not Joe and the Juice.
Like what about like
what
about Erewhon or Sweet Green?
That's a good one. Erewhon or Sweet Green.
Okay. What would you choose?
Erewhon still.
Nothing.
There's more options.
I know. Erewhon is so good. Okay, this one's tricky.
Or Erewhon or Sugarfish.
Okay, who would you pick then?
Still Erewhon.
You're like, I got it this time.
I can't eat Sugarfish for the rest of my life,
No. Who is your favorite comfort creator?
Comfort? What's comfort? Oh, it's like a trendy
it's like
thing.
A feel
what is
girl.
it?
It's like a feel good like creator. Like who do you just like put on?
A feel good creator?
Yeah.
I like Lauren Ireland.
Love her.
She's like a mom too, and like a founder. So I feel like I just like it.
You relate.
Yeah.
Who is the creator that works the best for Bala?
Probably the Sammys, I would say right now. We have this other guy, I forgot her name. Oh, Danny Austin.
Okay.
Also.
Okay. So very like workout people.
Well, Danny Austin's more like lifestyle.
Okay, I don't know
mom,
her.
and she really is like high converting, but doesn't really post a lot. Just when we have, but yeah, workout people with like a following, like a Sammy, who has their millions of
Followers.
users.
Yeah. What affiliate platform do you guys use?
We just switched to ShopMy.
Okay, cool. What is your favorite Bala product?
This is hard. The 3-pound bars.
Okay. What is your favorite marketing campaign that's not yours? Or like influencer collab partnership?
Ooh. I love what Set Active just did for International Women's Day. And they pulled in a bunch of founders, not really direct competitors, but all kind of worked together. And we did a shoot and it was really great.
Do you love to be a model?
That was fun.
I love it. Okay. What is your favorite way to ask for money?
From who?
Anybody. Investors, like customers, like how do you, like I have this thing where I do an HSR discount.
Yeah.
So every time I'm checking out of a retail store, I'm like, can I have 15% off? And they're like, what? Look at Rachel's face. And they go, what? And I go, yeah, I would like 15% off my order. And they say, why would I ever give you 15% off your order?
Yeah,
and I
crazy.
said, I don't know. Can I get it?
And do they do it?
50% of the time they do.
See, I don't have the balls for that.
You know what I think it is?
The price given.
No, rejection therapy. We are rejected so much in life. And the thing that built me so much resilience is when I first started my career, I did 100 cold calls a day. And I was just hung up on and told to fuck off. And now I don't give a fuck if you reject me. I'm like, your loss.
I agree with that. And I actually say that about business too. But for some reason, in some areas, like I'm at a store and I'm going to ask for a discount. Like I could never. But for business, I would like ask anything. Okay, so my favorite way to ask for money, I'm thinking of who. I like a referral program or something.
Okay, love that.
Like from a partner brand, like an agency or something. Because I'm always getting asked, if you needed
design services. And it's like, okay, I actually have somebody really good. So it's great if I get that referral. For sure.
Fee.
Love that. So you ask for the referral fee.
I ask the brand.
Yeah.
So it's like, let's say I'm recommending the design, not always, but like if it's a tech platform, like they have the budget. So it's like, I'll refer you for
sure.
a referral based on
But
that.
a lot of women don't do that. They feel like awkward asking for that. But it's like, even for me, I actually wanted to say to my landlord, like, if I find you somebody to move into my apartment, I want 15% of their first month's rent because I found you your tenant. You didn't need to hire a real estate agent.
That's exactly what it is. And I think that's a flex your muscle thing because I might have felt sheepish the first time I did it. But what I realized is like, these people, like I'm talking mostly like a tech or SaaS platform, they might send like 200 cold emails, but like I have the direct contact to the brand. And if you just asked me,
I should get paid for that.
Yeah. So,
but women don't think like that. They're like, I'll just do it. And it's so funny being around like my boyfriend now, who's just so successful in business. Like he gets paid for what he does.
Yeah.
And he looks at me when I like don't ask for stuff. And he's like, Maggie, like you deserve to be paid for that introduction. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know that.
I literally am doing a Substack article tomorrow on finance tools. And I asked every brand that I'm promoting for either like to pay for it or give me a percentage because I know other people are going to look to it and click and they're going to want to use some of the tools Bala uses. So
of course,
make some money from it. But I think that's a flex your muscle kind of thing.
Yeah. Who is your favorite Substack writer?
I like Emily Austin.
Don't know her. No.
She, I actually want to read her book, but I've just been seeing, she's somebody I follow. Who's your favorite? I'm like, I need to get Diana, who we just saw was great too. She has like a very whimsical one.
I was actually going to say like, I relate to that and I do really like it. And I feel like she writes it from the heart. So I like hers. Yeah. And I'm not a big Substack girly.
Do you have Smart Rich on there?
I have a newsletter that's like the Bible.
I follow that. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, but it's not on Substack.
But I think I thought that was a Substack because you get emailed from them.
Yeah.
So I think I probably thought that was one.
No.
But it doesn't need to be if you have your own.
Yeah.
The only thing you might be missing is acquiring that customer because I just launched mine, and most of the people have come from Substack.
So that's the one thing I actually,
copy paste it there, because why
I
not?
did say to my sister the other day, I was like, I feel like we are missing out on that. Like if you followed me and then people are like, who is Natalie following on Substack, then they would follow me automatically. So for us to acquire a customer is actually like a lot harder.
Yeah.
But I think that for some reason, the way that like ours is formatted is now, because I started it so long ago before everybody got Substack, that it's like iconic kind of. And people are like, if you didn't have your mood board and like all the things on it, it wouldn't be the newsletter anymore.
And you have your podcast.
Yeah.
So you don't need all the media.
No.
It's
no.
You know, you need like a couple.
But I'm going to start following that girl that you said. Okay, last question. What is your personal mission statement?
Ooh, personal mission statement. Let's think.
I have one for you, like just based on your mom life, is like to empower women that like you can do it all and look good while doing it.
Oh, I like that.
Like I just feel, because I do really mean what I say, and I haven't actually, not that people that have been on the podcast aren't girls, but like you, I just feel like are so not competitive. You're so grounded in who you are. And I think it starts with like you being a mom so early on in Bala's journey that like you just had bigger things to worry about from the day you started. But you really are a girl's girl, and you really have built such a big business while being a mom and like being married and having it all. So I feel like that should be your mission statement.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
To empower
women to have it all and look good doing it.
To empower women to have it all and look good doing it. I like it.
Okay, well, we just solidified Natalie Holloway's mission statement on Hot Smart Rich.
I really like it.
Thank you so much for coming on and being so honest. It's honestly conversations like this that I feel like will truly empower women to like build businesses they're passionate about and just go after what they want and look good doing it. So thank you so much. I'm so happy you came on. I'm so honored. Where can people find you?
Thank you. At Natalie Holloway on Instagram or at Bala.
Okay, love it.
Yeah.
Plug the brand.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And we really appreciate it, Natalie.
Thank you.